Welcome. In this session, we are going to discuss about components of railway track. In previous session, under this topic, we have been discussed about rails, and in this session, we are going to discuss about the remaining components of railway track like ballast and sleepers. Okay, na? Okay. In previous session, we have been discussed about what is railway track and what are the components we have been discussed. Okay, na? So in this session, we are going to discuss about components of railway tracks. Under this, we will discuss about first of all, we will discuss about sleepers. It is a component of railway track or permanent way. And one more thing we will discuss is about ballast. We are going to discuss. Okay, na? And also, I am going to discuss one more thing is the requirements of a good track or the requirements of a ideal railway track. Good track or good railway track. This is the most important one we should know. And first we will discuss about various requirements of a good track, and later that we will go to discuss about sleepers and ballast. Okay, na? We shall see the requirements of a good track right now. It means the permanent way or track should provide comfortable, safe, and convenient ride at the maximum permissible speed with minimum maintenance cost. Okay, now so to achieve these objectives, a sound permanent way should have the following characteristics. It means to achieve the safety, speed, comfort, economy. The permanent way should have these characteristics. First one is the gauge should be correct and uniform. Next one is the rails should have perfect trans levels. And also in case of curves, the rail should have, it means especially the outer rail should have proper superelevation to consider or to take into account centrifugal force. And thus the next requirement for a good track is the gradient should be uniform and as gentle as possible. The gradient at required places of a railway track should be uniform at different places. And next important requirement of a good track, or the next important characteristics of a good track, is the track should be resilient and elastic. The track should be resilient and elastic in order to absorb shocks and vibrations. In order to observe shocks and vibrations. And the next important characteristic is the track or the track should have good drainage system. And the next important requirement of a good track is the track should have good lateral strength. It means the track should have good lateral strength so that it can maintain its stability, and also it can bear various temperatures and various loads due to some other factors like wind load or some other environmental factors. Understand? So the track should contain sufficient lateral strength. And one more important good, it means requirement for a good railway track is the track should be, it means it can, the track should be provisions for, it means it should have provisions for easy replacement and renewal of various track components. So this is the one of the important requirement, because the track should have provisions for easy replacement and renewal of various its components. So this is the most important one, and the track should have such a structure, should have such a structure that not only its initial cost this is the last most requirement. The track should have structure that not only is its initial cost low, but also its maintenance cost. So these are all the requirements of various it means these are all the various requirements of good track. You can see the gauge should be correct and uniform. The rail should have perfect cross levels. In case of curves, their outer rails, it means especially the outer rail should have proper super elevation to consider. It means to take in account of centrifugal force. The track should be, it means should be uniform at different places. The track should resilient and elastic in order to absorb shocks and vibrations. Understand? So the track should have good drainage system. The track should have good lateral strength. The track should be provisions for easy replacement and renewal of various track components. And also the track should have such a structure that not only is its initial cost low, but also its maintenance cost also should be low. Okay, so these are all the various requirements of a good track. Okay, and now we will discuss about, I'm going to discuss about sleepers and ballast. Okay, let me say the ballast, it means okay, you can see that I will tell you rails, ballast and sleepers. These three are the components of a railway track. The sleepers are spaced at intervals, it means particular interval upon the ballast, and they are held in a position, and also they can transfer the load from rails to the ballast. Understand, Anna? And ballast is the most important component of a railway track. It can bear and it can absorb the entire load from the train, rails, sleepers, and it can transfer. It means the ballast can transfer the load, entire load into a large area of ground. Understand? So that is the main work or main function of a ballast. We can see. Okay, now. See, sleepers. So this is a joke. Sleeper is nothing but the one who is sleeping. In this picture, you can say that the sleeper, it means the person who is sleeping on a sleeper. See, the concrete beam or the concrete pile which is laid above the ballast and under the rails, that is called as a sleeper, which can bear the load of train and which can transfer the load to the ballast. Okay, now you can see here, sleepers are members generally laid transverse to the rails, on which the rails are supported and fixed to transfer the loads from the rails to the ballast and the subgrade. And you can see here the various functions of a sleeper. You can see here. See, in a railway track, sleepers perform the following functions: to hold the rails at proper gauge in all situations, that is, exact gauge along the straights and flat curves, slightly loose on sharp curves and slightly tight on diamond crossings, and to support the rails firmly and evenly throughout, to distribute the load transmitted through the rails over large area of ballast underneath or to the bridge girders as the case may be, and to hold the rails to proper level in turnovers and crossovers and at 1 in 20 inward slope along straight tracks, and to provide an elastic medium between the rails and ballast, and also to absorb the vibrations caused due to moving axle loads, to maintain proper alignment of the track on curves. Proper cant is provided by raising the outer rail and tamping the required quantity of ballast below the rails. So these are the various functions of sleepers we can see, and here you can say that the various requirements of a good sleeper. A good sleeper should meet the following requirements: the initial cost and the maintenance cost of the sleeper should be low. The fittings required for the fixing the rails on the slip onto the sleepers should be simple, which can be easily adjusted during the maintenance. The crushing strength of the sleeper should be more with moderate weight. They should be able to maintain a perfect alignment, gauge, and levels of the rails and should afford efficient adjustment and maintenance. And they should provide sufficient bearing area to hold the rail and also to hold the rail seats and for the ballast to be supported and to resist the crushing due to movement of heavy axle loads. So these are all the various requirements of good sleepers we can see, and some are good requirements are there. A sleeper for being a good sleeper, it means all the sleepers should contain all these characteristics or all these points should be satisfied by a sleeper. So then only that sleeper called as good sleeper. So the sleeper sleep, it means the sleeper spacing should be such as that to remove and replace and ballast during regular maintenance operation. They should be capable to resist the shocks and vibrations caused due to fast moving vehicles at high speeds. It means whenever trains are moving at high speeds, they should capable of to resist shocks and vibrations. And also the sleeper should be strong enough to withstand the pressure during the packing process. Understand or no? And the sleeper should be of such a design that they remain in their position and do not get disturbed due to moving trains. And the material used for sleeper be such that it does not attract the sabotage and theft qualities. So these are the various requirements of a sleeper to be a good sleeper. Understand or not? So now we discuss about various types of sleepers. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss about various types of sleepers. types of sleepers, or you may also call it as a classification of sleepers, and based on their it means based on the material by using which the sleepers made. The sleepers are classified into 5 types. If the sleepers are made up with wood, so then the sleepers are called as timber sleepers. And if the sleepers are made up with iron or cast iron, so then the sleepers are called as cast iron. And if the sleepers are made up with steel material or steel metal, so then the sleepers are called as steel sleepers. And if the sleepers are made up with the concrete, so then those sleepers are called as reinforced cement concrete sleepers, or simply they are also called as RCC. So next, if the sleepers are made up with the pre-stressed concrete, so they are called as pre-stressed concrete sleepers. In which, based upon the material, the sleepers have been classified like this. If the sleepers are made up with the timber, they are called as timber sleepers. If the sleepers are made up with iron or cast iron, they are called as cast iron sleepers. And if the sleepers are made up with steel, steel metal, so then they are called as steel sleepers. And if the sleepers are made up with concrete, so then they are called as RCC sleepers or reinforced cement sleepers, cement concrete sleepers. And if the sleepers are made up with the pre-stressed concrete, so then they are called as pre-stressed concrete sleepers. So here you can see that reinforced cement concrete and pre-stressed concrete. We know that concrete is strong in compression and weak in tension. And to give sufficient tensile strength to the concrete member, we will add steel rods or steel something. So then that concrete is called as RCC concrete. And one more thing, after adding steel to the concrete, then the concrete will undergo some load, and then some stresses will be developed within the concrete or within the steel which is in the concrete. Understand or not? So it means after adding load or after acting loads, the steel within the concrete will undergo some stresses. Understand or not? So that is the action happening in RCC. But coming to pre-stressed concrete sleepers, initially before inserting the steel rods into concrete, we will stress it. So that's why they are called as pre-stressed concrete. Whatever it may, after acting load, the steel will go undergo stress. But before acting load itself, we will apply some stress on the rods, and then they will it means they will position in the concrete. So after that, load will be acted, and then there will be no stress which is beyond the stress. Understand or no? So that's why they are called as pre-stressed concrete. Understand or no? Means whatever the stress should be maintained or should be beared by the steel which is acted by the load, that should be created before acting the load itself within a steel. So that's why they are called as pre-stressed concrete sleepers. Understand or no? So these are the 5 types of sleepers, and based on their position or location, the sleepers have been classified into longitudinal sleepers, and another one is transverse sleepers. So these are all the various types or various different classifications of sleepers based on their material and based on their position or location. 2 types of classifications of sleepers are there, and I'm going to discuss about each and every type of the sleeper. So here you can see various types of sleepers based on the material and based on the position or location. Longitudinal transverse types of sleepers are there. Okay, now, so first coming to longitudinal sleepers. So based on the location. So these are earlier form of sleepers which are not in use nowadays. It consists of slabs or pieces of timber placed parallel to the rails. To maintain the correct gauge cross pieces, so these longitudinal sleepers were provided, and these sleepers were costly. Noise created by the tracks is considerable. Okay, now, so these are the longitudinal sleepers. And next one is the transverse sleepers. So these transverse sleepers also called as cross sleepers. So these cross sleepers are transverse sleepers placed at right angles to under the rails, right angles to the rails, and they are provided under the rails. And these transverse sleepers can eliminate, or these are eliminated the inconvenience of longitudinal sleepers. Okay, so these are the longitudinal sleepers, and nowadays these are all using. Okay, now once I'm going to longitudinal sleepers. See, so these are the longitudinal sleepers. It means you can see here rail is there, under the rail a continuous long sleeper is there. So they are called as longitudinal sleepers. And when we use longitudinal sleepers, they create noise, and also they are inconvenient, and also they cannot bear the loads. So that's why we are going for transverse sleepers. Okay, now. Okay. In this session, we have discussed about good requirements of a permanent way, and also good requirements of a sleeper, and also the classification of a sleeper we have seen. And under classification, we have seen based on the position, these sleepers have been classified into two types: transverse sleepers and longitudinal sleepers. And longitudinal sleepers are nowadays completely, they have been eliminated in India, and only we are using transverse sleepers. Okay, now. And based on the material by which these sleepers have been made, classified as five types, like timber sleepers, RCC sleepers, pre-stressed sleepers, and cast iron sleepers, and steel sleepers. Okay, now, so about these five types of sleepers we will discuss in next class, and also about ballast we will discuss in next class. Thank you.